Well, hi there everyone. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back. My name is Kareth. Today I have a recipe for you for a Tex-Mex chicken enchilada casserole. This one is going to be very similar to my beef enchilada casserole. I'm just going to use chicken in this one. You are going to need a bag of tortilla chips to store next to your meal in a jar. There are quite a few ingredients, so this is one of those that if you get out all the stuff to make this, you might as well make several jars at a time, especially with the seasonings. There's quite a few seasonings that you need to put into the enchilada sauce. But the cool thing is I'm going to show you how to make a completely legitimate Tex-Mex homemade red enchilada sauce, and you can use that recipe anytime you want to make enchiladas at your house. You don't have to buy those cans. You can make it homemade. I'll show you how. I'm going to start with a quart-sized jar. You'll get about 4 servings. Into the bottom of the jar, I put a cup of chicken dices. You can use any kind of our chicken dices. To fill in the gaps and the spaces, I'm including some sour cream powder and 1/4 cup of our cheese sauce. Those are both going to make the enchilada sauce have a lot of flavor and some creaminess as well. I'm including some green chili peppers and some onions in here, as well as some cilantro. Now this is freeze-dried cilantro. It's that Litehouse brand. And that's a little bit of oregano. All right, and then comes some tomato dices and some yummy, crunchy, sweet corn. I'm putting 2 kinds of instant beans in here. I'm using instant black beans and instant refried beans. You could use all of one or the other. I do like the refried beans because they help to thicken the enchilada casserole. And then in the top is going to go some pepper jack cheese. You could also use cheddar. But this is a very full jar, so you might need to pat that down a little bit in order to fit the little baggie of ingredients to make the enchilada sauce. So into a snack size baggie, I've got 3 tablespoons of flour, and then I'm going to add a lot of seasoning to that. The tomato powder, chili powder, cumin, paprika, chicken bouillon, these are all things that usually go into an enchilada sauce. And like I said, I'm making a red enchilada sauce. And we're going to flavor it with onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and you do need about 1 teaspoon of sugar to balance out the acidity of the tomato. So all of those things go into the baggie. You need to keep it separate because what we're going to do is toast the seasonings and the flour in some oil. And in order to do that, to make that enchilada sauce, you have to keep those things separate. So it's a really tight fit here, but it does fit. That is the jar that you can keep stored on your pantry shelf. And like I said, if you try this recipe and you like it, then you can make several of these jars at a time. When you're ready to make it, you'll need to get out a large skillet or Dutch oven. And then on about a medium heat, you're going to need to melt some butter or a combination of butter and oil. That's what I've used. I did 3 tablespoons of avocado oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. And then in go the contents of that baggie, because this is going to be red enchilada sauce. And you need to toast that flour and toast those seasonings. Those seasonings are fat soluble, and once they hit that fat and the heat, they're just going to really wake up and come to life. So that's going to be a very delicious enchilada sauce there. And of course you need to toast flour because raw flour is not appetizing, but toasted flour is very good in a gravy or like this in a sauce. You need to toast it for 2 to 3 minutes. At this point, your kitchen will smell amazing. And then you can start to add some water. We're going to add a total of 4 cups of water here, but only 1 cup at a time. So the first cup that goes in, make sure you whisk that quickly. We don't want lumps in our enchilada gravy. and then add some more water, just a cup at a time. So go ahead and give it a whisk. It will dissolve any lumps that have formed, and the heat is still at a medium here. And then you're just gonna bring that to a boil. Cowboy, hush. Sorry guys, little cowboy's feeling ignored. He's a sweet puppy though, I'll tell you that. All right, in goes 1 more cup of water, and again, we're gonna whisk and just incorporate that water, heat that water up. And after you've added 3 cups of water, that is enchilada sauce. That's my recipe for homemade red enchilada sauce. Now, because we're gonna add an entire jar of freeze-dried ingredients, I'm going to go ahead and add a 4th cup of water because those ingredients are going to need that in order to rehydrate. So after you've added all 4 cups of water and you've whisked and it's come up to temperature, you can add the contents of the jar. And they are just going to go straight into the enchilada sauce. You'll need to stir that really well, coat all of those ingredients in sauce, and you're still at a medium at this point, medium heat. Once you bring that to a boil and you give it a really good stir, you can turn down your heat to medium-low. I ended up at a 2 out of 10 on my stove. And I covered this and I simmered it for about 20 minutes total. Now you do have to come along every 3 or 4 minutes and stir it because you've got cheese in there, you've got the beans in there, and they will tend to stick on you. So just make sure you stir it from the bottom. You don't want anything to burn. But as those ingredients cook, they are going to darken in color and the flavors are going to get nice and intense. And after about 20 minutes, when you are stirring, you'll notice that it's really nice and thick. And that's what you want. We are going to add the chips in just a minute, and that will really thicken it up. But that is what you're looking for. And then you'll want to go ahead and give it a taste test. Test a black bean if you put those in there, and if it's tender, then it should be ready to add the chips. And I'm going to say about half a bag of tortilla chips is what you're going to need to add. Shelf-stable tortilla chips should be good, like just a bag of, let's say, Tostitos or something like that. Those should be good for at least 6 months on your shelf. But I'm using some chips that we got at a local Mexican restaurant. Now this step is optional. You can add some freshly grated cheddar cheese and let that melt. You can just leave it on low for about 5 minutes. And that amount of time the cheese will melt and your chips will soften. The chips will soften into the texture of regular tortillas. And then it's ready to serve up. I like to serve it with some Mexican rice, maybe some avocado, a dollop of sour cream, and I love cilantro. I put cilantro on everything. So I do recommend that if you have it. You could also include a little squeeze of lime if you like that. So this is the type of enchilada sauce that's served on enchiladas just like all over the place. All the little Tex-Mex restaurants will have some sort of a red enchilada sauce. And you can use different meats with it. So like I said earlier, I do have a beef enchilada casserole recipe already up on my channel. And of course you could use it with chicken. You can also use it with a pulled pork. It's just a very, very good sauce, and it's great with like any kind of meat. They even serve this type of red enchilada in the cafeterias at the public schools around here. The San Antonio School District published their recipe from the lunch ladies in the cafeteria for their enchiladas. So many people around here grew up on those enchiladas and love them. All right, guys, I will include my full recipe in the description box below, as well as my shopping link in case you want to pick up any of these Thrive Life ingredients. I'll also include my website where you can pick up a copy of my cookbook. I have an ebook out with over 90 recipes in it for meals in jars. I've got hyperlinks to the videos on YouTube, and I also have hyperlinks for my shopping site for some of the ingredients. It's a really great cookbook, and if you like to have recipes for meals in jars, it's a good cookbook to have on hand. Since it's an ebook, you can download it to multiple devices and then just print off any of the recipes that you're interested in. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment below and let me know if you like Tex-Mex. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.